Hello there, noobs. Let's become hackers. First, we're going to try printing, right? And then we're going to store variables. And then we're going to create functions and use them. And pass our variables into our functions so they can do things. Right. So, come down to service, script service. Press this little plus button and create a script. And we are printing hello world. Hello out there. This is a tutorial. So when we press play, you'll see it runs the script and says hello world. It is doing something. It is taking our string. Whatever is defined inside of our quotes here is called a string. And it's doing stuff with it. Our print function is doing stuff with it. Whenever you see these open parenthesis and end parenthesis, this is a function. It's basically telling it to jump to a line of code somewhere in the background and then do whatever it tells it to do there. And then it jumps back and goes to the next line. Code goes line by line. So if I say print up here, start, it will do this before it does this, right? So if I press play here, you'll see it says start before it says hello world. Right. Okay. Now let's try putting something else in here besides a string. This is called a number, an integer. So if we have this here, when we try pressing play, it will still print our number here. We have numbers, and then we have, so this is called an integer here. If we have a decimal here, this is now a number. So just think number has decimals, integer is just this. It doesn't have any decimals. But yeah, they can be kind of treated the same. So let's say we want to make a function that lets us add things together. That would be super simple. So let's create a function, add. Oh. So we are creating a function by saying function before it. And then we have the name of our function, and then we have our parentheses. Anything that we put in here can be used inside of our function. So if we're at the end here and press enter, you can see it creates an end. It's basically telling us this is the scope in here. Everything that's inside of here is what will happen, and then once it reaches the end, it'll jump back to where we called when we first called it. So if we say add down here, once it gets down to line 8, then it will jump back to line 3, do everything that's in line 4, and if we have 5, 6, 7 or whatever, then once it reaches end, it will jump back down to here. Like it goes back here, right? So this is our scope in here. So let's try adding a num1 and num2. Did I cover variables? I probably did. But let's just go over it in case. So say we have box. My box is equal to. If you've done algebra, this is basically algebra. You're basically allowing yourself to put numbers and stuff, or strings, or whatever, inside our box. It's storing it. Then we can use that somewhere else. So if we say print here, we say my box, right? Everything we had inside the box will get passed to our print function, right? So if we press play here, see how it prints hello? It's because we passed hello into our box, and then our print function can read what's inside the box and then print it out to our output. So let's try passing our own and making our own variables to pass into our function here. Now we can use these variables we set here. Let's just try printing num1 and printing num2. Now if we press play, oh look, they're nil. So that's because we called add, we told it to jump here, and we didn't give it anything to print. It's trying to print something that's not there, because we didn't pass it here. So to pass it there, we can just say, let's just try 1 and 2. We are giving it 1 and 2. So num1 is actually 1 now. Num2 is the number 2 because we passed it there. And we're passing those, and it's printing those. See? Hello, 1, 2. Now, if we wanted to add these together, and then just print them, we can say num1 plus num2 and print that. So now when we press play, you can see it adds them together and it gives us 3. That is super useful, because now we have places where we can just jump to here and then do that. Now, if we wanted to, we can also do what's called return. We can tell it to give us something in return, and we call this function. So now when it jumps to here, like when we call this, we give it these, it takes those, and then it does something with it. So it prints it out, but then we return num1 plus num2. So this is actually going to be 3. And since we're returning it, this here is going to give us something in return. And we can store what it gives us inside of another variable. So my sum. So now this is going to be 3, because this is now 3. And we can print that. So now, if I do what's called a comment, you just put 2 dashes right here, right? This will make it so this doesn't do anything. It's just there. It's a comment. Like I could say up here, this function adds numbers together. This code isn't actually going to be executed. It's just ignored. So I'm just making it so this is going to be ignored. It's not going to do anything, but it's still going to return. Now when I press play, now I get 3. It's printing 3. And that is because right here, we printed out what it returned. It gave us 3. We stored it. And then we printed out what we stored. So that is printing all variables and our functions. I hope this helped. And now you are a hacker. Enjoy.